Hello dear learners, as we discussed in previous video about the purchase requisition, it is the first part to requirement comes from the user department to procurement department via purchase requisition. Its short form is PR. About this PR we discussed in previous video what the different things which we need to review in that purchase requisition, so we cannot found any type of mistakes or glitch in future contract. So today we will discuss complete cycle of procurement from tendering to contracting. It is also called P2P, procure to pay cycle. So first we will see the after receiving the purchase requisition and review the purchase requisition. The first step towards the procurement process as a procurement engineer or executive to preparation of bid. There are mainly two types of bid preparation. One is a commercial bid, second is a technical bid. In commercial bid, there are a number of items like first one is a SOR, which is called schedule of rates. Number two, GCC, general conditions of contract. Number three, SCC, standard conditions of contract. Number four, commercial deviations. And in the second part, in technical bid preparation, there are first point is if it is a material, then technical specification. If it is a service or work, then it is a scope of work, SOW. Then second point is other related technical certificates. Then third point is technical deviation sheet. Invitation to bid, its meaning is that our we send inquiry to the vendors to participate in this bid. So it is a tender to float the vendor to provide this item if you supply this. There are mainly three types of invitation of bid: single source, multi source, or manufacturer. Also in the different organization, in bid is called different types, means invitation of bid, request for quotation, request for proposal, invitation for quotation, etc. There are mainly three types. The first type is single source. Suppose in sometimes there are only single OEM about their product. Sometimes, as for an example, some pipeline licenses, some other IT licenses, some other specific materials like products like video bars and etc., or some specific materials which only made by a specific OEM, original equipment manufacturer. Suppose if any ladder, not a normal ladder, but a 10 foot or 14 foot wider or such a big ladder is required, there are a number few, very few manufacturers in India. So it is called a single source. We send him inquiry, they will quote, and on the basis of negotiation, we will award the order to him only. There are no any other bidders bid in this type of tender. It is called a single source tender. The second point is multi source tender. In multi source, it is a wide opportunity for the vendor to bid in this tender. So this source in this type, there are number of vendors bid according to their capacity and our requirement. If vendor finds okay, we are capable to fulfill these requirements, then everyone vendor can bid in this type of contract. So it is called a multi-source tender. So in this multi-source tender, it is not confirmed that this award is go to the only single bidder. It might be split on two bidders or more than two bidders. It is depend on the bulk of quantity or the organization perspective. Then third type is a manufacturer. Sometimes some product is a very unique which is a used in specific organization. So this organization is made this product to do the contract to specific manufacturer, and that this manufacturer made this product specifically for the single buyer. This product is not used by any other buyer, or it is not a normal product which use every industries. So it is a basic part of flotation of inquiry to vendor. So vendor give its quotation to the buyer. Now we move ahead. So the second system is the method of inquiry. Above we discuss about the invitation of bid. So which different types of bid we say in organization is process. So methods of inquiry. So there are basically two methods. One is a manual inquiry, and then second is a system inquiry. What is the meaning of manual inquiry? Manual inquiry means it is a on drafting of simple mail. In that two attachments is there. So in one attachment is a commercial tender. It means whatever we told earlier, there is a SOR, then GCC, SCC, then deviation sheet, and the other point is a technical tender. In that it is mentioned either specification or scope of work, then any other certification required from vendor side, and then deviation sheet. And in the simple mail, there is a buyer has mentioned their whole history, where they started the company, and where there is a turnover, and where they grow, how many years of experience, and how they comes in this business, and this all the things. Then after the pro- whole the commercial thing is mentioned, ki which material we needed, what is the deadline of the quotation, and what if you have any technical queries, then mention in our technical coordinator contact details, so vendor can coordinate with technical person via procurement. And if vendor is new, then also a vendor registration form is mentioned in there. So new vendor can be able to register their vendor profile into the buyer system, and they also eligible for the bidding. Other system is system inquiry. The system inquiry means in today's world, every organization most probably use some ERP software, enterprise resource planning software, like SAP, Ariba, then Oracle, then Microsoft, DG, then etc. So many softwares, ERP softwares available in market. So most of the organization use some of the ERP software. So in the system inquiry, the first they made up one single inquiry in that, and that after they put one by one vendor details. So by system it will be ready to the inquiry, and then after they will send to the inquiry to the vendor through system, not manually. It is triggered by the system. In system you have to attach all your commercial documents, technical documents, and all the things. So it is a mainly two types of inquiry: manual inquiry and system inquiry. Manual inquiry is a simple. for the mail body you have to type your all the complete buyer's complete profile and all the things. Now we move ahead. Negotiation procedure. Once we send the inquiry to the bidders and the once the bidder is give their quotation, and once we send the technical quotation to user department, and once they confirm that this bidder is a technically qualified, then we initiated the negotiation with the technical qualified bidders only. We did not do negotiation with vendor which is technically not qualified or not acknowledged. So negotiation procedure is only applicable with the technically qualified bidders. In negotiation, there are mainly four situations is there. The best negotiator, there is some proverb in English is that the best negotiator is who, which is a best listener, good listener. So negotiation not is the only discussion thing, but it is also pointed out you have to listen the vendor or contractor and understand their what they given to us. There are four situations. First situation, win-win situation, means whatever quote as in terms of, first of all we talk about in terms of price. Suppose if contractor given its price with some marginal increment from the normal price, means for the original price of that product it is okay, but if the contractor has more gain in terms of money, so in that time we need to a negotiation, the win-win situation told कि buyer is also satisfied to get a material in terms of price in accurate manner, and contractor or supplier is also satisfied with that to get to provide this product with appropriate cost, because no one can lose anyone. No buyer think is that I have get this material in so much how very high prices, or neither contractor says or bidder says I will uh, give you the product or material on very high prices. It is a some marginal difference, approximately as per my experience I told around 7 to 8% margin of the basic price of product or any product base price. It is okay for the as a contractor or as a seller, but if you gain a more benefit or more interest, it is not good for your business, not only for one, but it is impact on your every business. Win and lose situation in this condition, suppose as for example buyer wins, they give the negotiation with contractor and they comes to the contractor on below the base price. Below the base price means if contractor get this product on 20 rupees and buyer told we need this product on 10 rupees and contractor is agree, so it is a win loss situation. When in that the buyer wins and seller lose, not they give a profit but also they reduce their principal amount also. Lose win situation. What is the lose win situation? Suppose buyer lose and contractor wins. It means if the suppose any product has basic price principal amount is 100 rupees and contractor sells it to the buyer in 200 rupees, and buyer is agreed to the contractor कि we will give you the 200 rupees, so it is a completely lose side for the buyer and completely win side of the contractor, because the it is a very much profitability mindset is a very uh, dirty mindset, because it is a one party is completely lose and other party is completely gain. It is a not good for the healthy commercial environment. And the third point is lose lose situation. What is the meaning of lose lose situation? The the lose lose situation is the which product need to buyer as a for company. The contractor told I get this order, this product from 100 rupees, but I will give you in 50 rupees. But and buyer is also agree to get it 50 rupees without checking their specification. So the contractor give them to the any product which they really did not needed, and contractor also lose their principal amount, not a profit. So it is a lose lose situation. So in every negotiation there is a one fair pillar in which the negotiation will occur. The first is a win-win situation, in that both buyer as well as seller both win that situation. Second point is win-lose situation, in that buyer wins and contractor lose in situation. Then lose win situation, buyer lose and contractor win the situation. And lose lose situation, buyer as well as contractor both will lose the situation. So now we move ahead. So then after once organizational negotiation is completed, and it is not needed to only one negotiation meeting with contractor or bidder is there. There are also multiple meetings can be held. Suppose first meeting is basically on the executive level, second negotiation is on above management level, assistant management, third management the GM or VP level, and fourth management is the director level. It can also be possible, but after the organization completed the negotiation, then they will move forward to the approval note. In approval note, there is an appropriate authority approve the proposal of the contractor, there of the bidder. In that there is a delegation of authority. What is the meaning of DOA? Delegation of authority. In delegation of authority, in that mentioned which designation and which person has how much credit authority. How much credit or debit authority. How much debit authority according to the DOS. As for an example, AM has a 50,000 to the debit authority. Then manager has a 1 lakh debit authority. Then GM has a suppose 10 lakh debit authority. VP has a 50 lakh debit authority. ED has some 50 crore authority, and there are so many authority which is mentioned in delegation of authority. And this DOA document has every single person of procurement department must have, because they process the in line with that approval note. Because sometimes in organization their executive level employee did not understood ki which person has which how much authority, and sometimes which person has no authority, they also approve the approval note. So it is not a good environment for the organization. So it is a very crucial point, because on the basis of approval note, the department has moved ahead for their for the future orders and other things. So approval note, it is also a two type, means some organization has get some manual approval note prepare, and then they move towards the system approval note. And then some organization have also option they only get a manual approval note. Manual approval note means on the mail. In mail they type approval and get the approval, and then they directly made a PO order in system through direct PR to PO without doing complete procedure into system. They follow all the tendering to contracting procedure, but it is manually, not a system. But I thought and I told you the system is a best possibility, because they store all the data, and if in future any conflict is raised, then it will be very helpful the system data to get easy access. So As per my opinion, every organization has some might about the digitalization of the system. Then after we move ahead from award of order, then it is also a part of the tendering in which we send a letter of intent to various vendors for the confirmation that okay, are you intend to bid in this document. It is not a formal agreement or contract. It is only a letter to confirm the vendor intent if they are re- intend to bid in this requirement or not. Once vendor is provide their intent, yes, I am interested to bid in this tender, then after management discussion we as a procurement engineer or executive send their inquiry. If vendor told ki we are not intent to this tender with specification ki because due to this time or we have not provide this product or that, so management it saves as a record and for future communication they understand this needed. Then after is letter of award. Letter of award is the same type of order which is sent to the seller or contractor as a part of to award, and you are authorized by us to give this work in his area or specific in this product. So it is a formal agreement. In that also we have mentioned all the there is LOA number, LOA date, the quantity, BOQ, SOR, then terms and condition, as well as it is a same as a order. It is the same as a legal contract or order. Purchase order. The purchase order mainly uses in the for the material. If you give the any supply of or material order to the vendor, then it is called a purchase order. Purchase order has already all the things is mentioned: purchase order number, purchase order date, currency, SOR, all terms, condition, guarantee, performance bank guarantee, security, EMD, whatever the thing management has decided and did discuss with the vendor while tendering. Purchase order is a formal agreement which is enforceable by law. If any conflict raised in purchase order between the buyer and seller, then it is a judicial matter, and buyer as well as seller liable to go to the court and resolve these disputes if compliance is not followed. Then other point is service order. What is the meaning of service order? Service order is the same type of order which uses in the service type of contract, not in the material or supply type of contract. In service order there are all service order number is mentioned, currency, service order date, SOR, but in that service order there are one main specification is attached which is called a scope of work. So vendor or awardee can understand that we have to execute this service order on the basis of this scope of work. So it is also crucial to send all the related documents like service order or GCC or scope of work while the sending the order to the contractor. So which vendor is providing their services, it is called a contractor. Then the third is a work order. It is work order mainly used in EPC, engineering, procurement, and construction department. So work order told that we give a one work order to the third party in which the all the complete scope of mention with engineering, with construction, and with procurement is a liability of third party agent. So in that work order it is a type of EPC contract. So it is a part of turnkey project, not a whole turnkey project. It is a small part of turnkey project. So work order is a different from this purchase order and service order. in purchase order and service order we give a some small person, and in work order we give the contractor to third party a very big portion. Now we will move forward. So it is a payment procedure. Finally, the every contractor or seller or bidder is work for their payment, and it is a right thing. There is a no issue about that. So what is the payment procedure? Once, if in first we talk about the material, if the any supply or material we receive into our premises, and after our after inspection, and once they give the invoice, as a buyer side, the buyer finance department will first review their invoice. Once the invoice is matches with whatever quantity they supply to our premises is matched, then they will proceed towards a goods receipt note GRN. It is once GRN is in different system is also produced like SAP, Oracle, Ariba, and that. Once GRN is produced, then they finance will do their payment. So in the case of supply, once we received material and bank guarantee, it is also in some type of goods bank guarantee is taken by the organization. So once organization took goods and bank guarantee, and if good is has no any defect, and it is approved by third party inspection agency TPIA, then we will accept the invoice, review the invoice, and after reviewing of the invoice, we will send to the finance department, and finance department do the payment. And we, it is our as a procurement engineer and executive, our responsibility is that if they do the payment or not, they do the delivery, contractor or vendor has do the delivery or not. So same in second point, as we talk about the service. If if we issued some service order to the contractor, and then they will raise their invoice, they will do the work in every month, and they will raise at the end of every month, and then and we inspect their work, and whatever quantity of work they did as per SOR of PO, and whatever quantity they mention in their invoice is matches, then we will send to the finance department, and finance department credit the payment into the vendors or contractors account. The payment procedure is a main part of the contracting, because everyone has worked to the payment, because have to maintain their organization, their family, their workforce. So it is a very crucial point of organization. But in sometimes there is also some very much inequalities generated in the payment procedure. Sometimes internal dispute raise the, sometimes also happen that the vendor or contractor has timely submit their invoices, timely do their work, but due to the buyer's internal dispute, they will not receive their payment on time. So this type of misrepresentation is occur in the organization in actual scenario. For two remedies of this misconception, there is a one legal department or one authority is needed, which can authority to do a dedicated decision